Well, I'm clearer than ever that very significant changes in global taxation will happen. The OECD is having a further meeting to review where they stand globally at the end of this month. And from my understanding of the work that is underway and from the discussion now we have just had on this topic within the ECOFIN, I'm very clear that we're going to see significant change happening in global taxation from 2021 onwards. In the discussion that we've had, I stressed the need for this future consensus and the European position to respect the role and the needs of small and medium-sized countries. But change is coming. Ireland has to plan to be ready for that change. And the best way we can be ready for this kind of change is begin now to start running sustainable budgetary surpluses. This vindicates the decision that was made by the Department of Finance to begin to review downwards our projected corporate tax receipts from the mid-2020s onwards. And the discussions that I've had today and the discussions that I'm having with colleagues reaffirm to me that significant change is coming and reaffirm to me the need for Ireland to be ready for this change.
Can we get an example of what that change will look like?
So if you look at the different options that are being considered within the OECD, there are some proposals that are there that would look at a minimum effective tax rate. These are proposals that I've indicated great concern about. But there are other proposals there that would look at locating where the tax is paid to where value is created. Any of these kind of developments would have a very significant influence on the global environment in relation to taxation and for global companies, and in turn would have an influence on Ireland. These are changes that will be happening at a global level. We can influence them, but we cannot determine them as we would be able to do within other organisations. And because of the role of larger countries within the OECD, it's all the more important that Ireland does begin to plan for change. In the recent forecast from the Department of Finance, we have indicated that up to €2 billion of corporate tax revenue could be influenced by the OECD changes alone. And I'm clear that one way or the other there will be progress at OECD level in 2020.
I just wanted to ask you about the opinion poll, the latest opinion poll showing Fine Gael behind again. Do you have any response to what the poll says?
It'll be yet another catalyst and reminder for every Fine Gael candidate all over the country to continue with their vigorous campaigning. We're going to have lots of different opinion polls throughout this campaign, and my message in relation to all of them is that every candidate on behalf of Fine Gael needs to redouble, and they are doing their efforts to get the support of their local communities.
Can I just ask you about pensions? I have a very personal interest in this. I would be 66 next year, and I find suddenly that the government is telling me I can't take my state pension for a further year until I'm 67. Have you got anything to say about managing the position of those who are going to find themselves very suddenly, in many cases, deprived of a source of income that they were depending on?
Well, this change has been well indicated now over a number of governments, but despite that indication, I absolutely understand as Irish citizens approach the point in which they may be accessing or claiming the state pension age. The state pension, the fact that that age is changing is of course an issue of great concern to them. In addition to that concern, what we also have to ensure is that we have the money available in the future to be able to pay our growing number of pensioners the pension that they expect. We have to be able to get that balance right. And that is why the change in the state pension age, I do believe, is in the long-term interests of how we can ensure that we're able to pay pensions at a good level both now and in the future. But I do also understand the concern that many will face, particularly those who are required to retire as they approach that age. And we are at the moment examining if there are any options in relation to that particular matter. Could I just say a word about the UK? I'm on my way now to have lunch with the Chancellor of the Exchequer. As you know, this is his last meeting now before Brexit takes place. And what I have done now over the last number of years is maintain very regular contact with the Chancellor and with the UK Treasury in relation to issues that are of importance to Ireland. and that the UK also wish to raise. So I am meeting the Chancellor now. We'll be having a discussion in relation to future developments between the United Kingdom and the European Union and Ireland. And obviously a very important point that I will be emphasising is that if there is an ambition within the United Kingdom for an ambitious future trade deal, then a level playing field is an absolutely vital and necessary foundation of that kind of future relationship. We will have to ensure, particularly within goods, that everybody is playing by the same rules and has an understanding of what those rules will be, and that is a vital prerequisite, therefore, for an ambitious trading agreement in the future.
Do you think that should include dynamic alignment in some areas, particularly state aid?
Well, state aid is a very important element of how we can ensure that a level playing field is maintained, because the role that individual governments play with respect to industries or companies within the single market is something that's very closely monitored. And therefore, if we were to look at a future and an ambitious relationship regarding trade with the United Kingdom, there would need to be a very clear understanding regarding how state aid matters would be both understood and then dealt with. But what I'm hoping to do across the next number of hours is better understand from the Chancellor his own views in relation to the future trading relationship. It's one that really matters to us. It's one that is vital for the future success of the Irish economy. And if you look at much of the debate now that is now underway in Ireland in relation to the general election and our future, and navigating our way through the next phase of Brexit is a prerequisite to ensuring that we have an economy that is able to meet the demands and needs of our citizens, and also able to meet and fund many of the different proposals that are now being advanced by an array of political parties.